It's 9 a.m. Friday morning on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. And it's time for Chamber Chatter, a monthly roundtable discussion with today's Long Island business leaders. It's been underwritten by MapTunes, Long Island Chamber Maps. My name is Mark Snider. We have some heavy me this morning via Zoom technology. Don Schiavetta, he is the president of the Bethpage Chamber of Commerce, representing the mighty town of Oyster Bay. Belinda Watkins, she's the president of the Hempstead Village Chamber of Commerce, which is part of the Hempstead Township. Now, I know that confused a lot of people. So for clarity, Hempstead Village resides within the town of Hempstead. Town of Hempstead is made up of 22 villages and 37 hamlets. So Hempstead Village is a part of the town of Hempstead. Is that clear? I hope so. Okay. And by the way, Belinda is also a board member with the Nassau Council of Chambers. Belinda, we just had your president, Frank Camerano, on our program last month. And finally, Matt Nartowicz, he's the newly anointed president of the Glen Cove Chamber of Commerce, Glen Cove being one of two cities on Long Island, the other Long Beach. All right, Don, Belinda, and Matt, first time on our program. Welcome to Chamber Chatter.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, also on the big show today, Day Tripper. Let's spend a day in each of these communities. What's there to do? We're going to find out. Genie in a bottle. What three wishes do our presidents have for their chamber in 2022? And then there's Ask a Leader. And that's where I turn over the mic and I let our guests ask the questions. So Don, we'll start with you. First off, nice to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
All right, it's the start of your second year as chamber president.
That is correct.
All right, tell me about your first year.
First year was good. A little tough, obviously, because of COVID. The street fairs that we like to do and the parades, things got cut back greatly because of it. But we plowed forward, and like this year, we finally got a holiday lighting in before the year. So I think we're positioned well to start up next year as long as we don't have any increase in the amount of COVID and the Omicron variant.
What weren't you expecting your first year as president?
A pandemic. I mean,
that's true.
You know, we had a lot of things planned, a lot of things we wanted to do different ways. We wanted to mesh up with our public library a little bit because we're very close to downtown. And a lot of those things just got cut off. So we were trying to schedule more events, and instead we scheduled a lot less in the number of events. So that's kind of where it went. But what was good was with the help of actually MapTunes, we were able to expand our chamber a lot. And that's really worked well for us.
Okay, great. Belinda, big town, right? Lots to do. Tell my audience how you rose to be chamber president.
Well, I was on the chamber for about maybe 2 to 3 years prior to becoming the vice president. And then when we had the new mayor and the new administration, one of our board members, she is now the trustee at the Village of Hempstead. So she stepped down and appointed me president. And the second year after that, then I became was voted back in for president. So it definitely, you know, I was already, I guess, positioned to already put to fill that seat because I was already there already. So, yeah.
Okay. What was your greatest challenge when you took over as president?
The greatest challenge was basically the pandemic, but we kind of managed through. We were just a little nervous that our businesses would close down, but we were actually grateful that it wasn't that many that closed down, only one, and I believe it's just because he's been maybe there over 50 years. So we actually had more business actually come into the town, which was great. So, but the most challenge was just making sure we help them with supplies, masks, sanitizers, and things like that. So.
Talk to me for a second about membership. How's that held up for you?
We were getting members. It slowed down at the beginning, but what we did was because we knew everybody was struggling a little bit, we dropped the price. We did a discounted price of $25, and we got about 40 members to sign up and ongoing now. So that worked out pretty well. And we also have youth members, so that helps as well too. So we were still getting members, but once we dropped the price a little bit, a lot of people was signing up. So that was great.
What's a youth member?
Youth member, we offer them like volunteer positions in the community of local businesses. If they're into baking, we may send them to a bakery. If they're, into web design or something like that, we'll connect them to a web designer in the community. And then a lot of them actually have a business, and then we put them in pop-up shop, local vendor events and things like that to promote their business. So the youth members have a business as well, believe it or not. And it's pretty great too. So and they help out we give them volunteer credits to a school, which a lot of them need anyway for high school. So and scholarships, we give them scholarships. Yes.
I like that. That's good stuff. Yeah, throughout the pandemic, we've been broadcasting the whole time, save for I think a month or two. But many of the chambers are either offering discounted membership, and in a lot of instances, the chambers just waived, especially that first year, 2020.
Right.
Just waived the dues. They didn't want to lose anybody. So it's nice that you're offered that discount. Matt, brand new Glen Cove president, big shoes to fill, replacing longtime outgoing president Lisa Cohn.
Yes.
What are your expectations going into the job?
Well, I'm hoping that we can get back to our main events. They've been on postpone due to the pandemic. So, we didn't feel it's right to bring together hundreds of people into a closed, area for our events. So we're hoping that in 2022 that we can get back to those and continue to grow our chamber.
Okay. Is Lisa Cohn still with you?
She's still with us. Yep.
Okay, great. So you can lean on her shoulder or cry on her shoulder, whatever you need to do from time to time.
Always. She's a great resource.
Great. Okay, thanks for that introduction, guys. We're going to segue into a feature called Day Tripper, and we're going to take our first trip around the town of Bethpage. So, Don, let's say I'm spending the day in your community. What's there for me to do with my family of 5? What do you got on the itinerary in Bethpage?
Well, Bethpage, home of Bethpage State Park. So in the summertime, there's a picnic area, a golf course, driving range. There's brand new biking trails that have been redone throughout the park. And there's also off-trail biking throughout the park. But the paved new trails now span all the way from Woodbury and all the way down to Massapequa. So that's really, it's quite a ride. It's almost, I think, 7-mile trail. And that's great. And then always stop into town of Bethpage for a lunch or for a dinner afterwards is a lot of fun. If you were in the wintertime, you'd have a community park. We have indoor ice skating. There is also sleigh riding at the state park. When there's plenty of snow, I think it's usually over 3 inches or 4 inches, you call the state park and they'll let you know where they're going to be having sledding in the state park area. So that's the main thing. Also, you can visit the Bethpage Restoration Village, and that's year round. So they'll have summer programs. They have winter programs. Again, in the fall, they do many different programs over at the Restoration Village, and that's right nearby as well.
I know Old Bethpage is typically aligned with Plainview because they share a school district among other services. Do you ever partner at all, being, Bethpage, Old Bethpage? You guys ever do anything with the people of that community?
With Old Bethpage, like you said, does align with Plainview. So, but they are right next to us, and we see them in our town constantly. So when we run things in our town, because their downtowns, I don't think run as many type of Main Street things such as concerts or street fairs. So we do see them in our community a lot for that. But we haven't done anything with the Restoration Village as of yet. We were working on that last year, and again, it got kind of sidetracked.
Okay. By the way, I live in Massapequa. I've taken that bike path from the very beginning to the very end, and
it's beautiful. They've made it beautiful.
Challenging. I think it's 14 miles, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you're going all the way up to Cold Spring, up to Cold Spring Harbor.
I go as far as where does it end now? All the way up in Syosset, Plainview, Syosset.
Right, Woodbury, Syosset.
Woodbury, yeah.
I haven't gone. They say you can get on a trail and go north to Cold Spring Harbor. I haven't done that.
I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but you can also check out the Ocean Parkway bike path that they finished that extends from Jones Beach all the way out east to Robert Moses. That's pretty good too. All right, let's get back to the chambers for a second here. Matt, talk to me a little bit about, I know things are starting to open up. Every time I think they're opening up, we get a door slammed on our face, but it seems like maybe this could be a good year if we can get past this Omicron variant. What are you looking at for the year as far as functions and events that you want to kind of sink your teeth to?
We have a great event every year. It's at the Glen Cove Mansion, which is a beautiful location just for the sites alone, where our restaurants come together, and we host an event there where they could go ahead and provide their food and samples of their food to hundreds of guests that come in. So that's in April. Typically, we're hoping to get back to that. And then we have yearly a gala, usually at the end of the year, but again, being postponed in 2021. We're hoping to have that this year in June, hoping that in the summertime it'll be a little bit better with the pandemic, and hopefully Omicron is not around as significant that is in the winter months. So we're trying to push our events to late spring and summertime to get everybody able to get out there.
Okay, great. And Belinda, what about you? What do you got on the slate for 2022 for the chamber?
Yes, we're getting ready to put together some of the workshops for the businesses in the community, because we noticed during the COVID situation, a lot of their books wasn't together. So we're going to do a quick book workshop, a tax workshop, just making sure everyone's ready to go for the new year. And the NWBE certification, we're going to get a lot of our businesses registered for that. And we have a women's event that normally happens in March, right in the yard of the Chamber House. It was really nice last year. And because of COVID, it worked because it was outside. So, we do the women's event. And, and usually throughout the year, our normal every year event is our Halloween street fair, which is in October. And then our holiday with the village. We cut off the whole street. We have another one for the holiday. But throughout the year, we have different workshops coming up for the businesses, which is the most important.
Let's hope everything runs without a hitch. Don, how about you? Right. What's Bethpage got lined up?
Bethpage, hopefully we'll have our St. Pat's Parade first Sunday in March, which has been a tradition for many years. We'll be doing music on Broadway. We'll have 2 concerts right on Broadway during the summer, usually one in June and one in July. And this year we had postponed it till August, but we'll try to figure out where those are going to be. And then we do a fall street fair with Kiwanis every year, which works out very nice, very family oriented, a lot of kids rides, different things to do. And then back again, like we just had our holiday lighting, we do that, and that has kids rides and tractor rides and pony rides, and it's a lot of fun in the street at Bethpage.
Very good. Sounds like you guys have a full plate. Let's hope that everything works in our favor this year. We can return somewhat to a normal existence. Wouldn't that be nice? Belinda, I mentioned at the show open that you kind of double as a board member with the Nassau Council of Chambers. What are your responsibilities with the chamber? What is your role on the board there?
Well, I'm there to assist the other chambers in the Nassau area. And one of the things that I'm actually tackling, which maybe, it probably seems simple to someone else, is the Nassau County website doesn't have all the chambers listed. So if you're new to Nassau County, there's a lot of chambers that are missing. So so things like that being on that board, now I can actually, speak for the other chambers, because that's something that, everybody's busy. So that's something that I can tackle. So that way now all the chambers can look on the website and they'll be able to click, and someone can click onto their website. So, and I noticed Frank had gave us masks and sanitizer. So I was able to pick some up for our chamber. And then, if any other chamber needs it, we can get it to them as well.
Frank was on last month, as I mentioned, and he discussed that very issue of, I think there were maybe half a dozen Nassau County chambers that are not part of the council.
That's right. That's right.
Said, why wouldn't they be part of the Nassau Council? And he just thinks it's really a matter of outreach. So it looks like you're going to be running with that. Very
Yes,
good.
we're definitely, yeah, he knows I'm out there. Once he called me, I'm out there. So we're gonna try to put that together to start going out to the ones. And it could be just a matter of funding. If we can assist them with funding, maybe getting their dues together, because and they just don't know. Some of them just really don't know,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. You would think they would know, but some of them really don't know. And it's up to us now to really start doing the outreach.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, let's take a quick break and we're going to come back with Genie in a Bottle. That's where we're going to find out what your 3 wishes are for your chamber organization. And we're going to spend a day in Hempstead. Belinda Watkins is going to tell us all about that. This is Chamber Chatter on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. We'll be right back.
So I get this call from my grandma, and she's like,
"What's a podcast and how much does it cost?"
So I tell her, podcasts are like radio shows, but you can download them on any device and listen to them anywhere at any time, and they're free. And then she says,
"I see, but where can you find good ones?"
And I'm like, go to WCWP.org/podcast and check out the lineup of original shows, or download any podcast app on your phone or tablet and search for LIU Studios. And she's all like,
"Oh, that sounds easy."
And then she asked me what an app is.
LIU Studios podcasts, available on any podcast app. You know, those little button things on your phone screen. Just ask your grandkids.
This is Mark Snider. Welcome back to Chamber Chatter on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. Once again, Chamber Chatter has been underwritten by MapTunes, Long Island Chamber Maps, and by the MapTunes Shoppers Discount app. With over 2,500 discounts island-wide, download the MapTunes app. That's MapTunes, MAPTOONS, or you can simply visit shoppersdiscountcard.com. My business leaders with me today, Don Schiavetta. He's the president of the Bethpage Chamber of Commerce. Belinda Watkins joins us, president of the Hempstead Chamber of Commerce, and Matt Nartowicz, newly anointed president of the Glen Cove Chamber of Commerce. Okay, right around this time, we like to play Genie in a Bottle. And that's where our listening audience learns about the 3 wishes our presidents have for their chamber organization. So Belinda, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to paint a little picture for you here. Let's say you're taking a summer swim at Kennedy Memorial Park and you notice a bottle floating in the water. And when you pluck it out, you open it up and out comes a genie granting you 3 wishes for your chamber. What are you asking for?
Well, the first thing is to make the funding application more legible for our businesses, because it came down as booklets. So if the county can get that wordage done correctly, wouldn't say correctly, but at least our business can actually apply to it and don't get discouraged. So definitely, if the county can make the paperwork a little bit easier for our businesses. The second wish would just be, or we get a influx of a lot of people coming back to Hempstead. We have a new mayor, we have a new board, new trustees, and he's doing a lot of changes. A lot of businesses are opening up in Hempstead, and I just want the traffic to come back. So that'll be a wish that I would have, just the traffic to come back to our downtown areas and all throughout Hempstead. So, yes. And the third wish would be more members to sign up. The more members we have, the more committee members we can have, and we can help each other and help build our business community up. So definitely, so we can move forward.
Your third wish is the most popular wish amongst all chamber presidents.
Right. Right.
Matt, how about you? You're visiting the Garvey's Point Museum and Preserve. And while you're browsing around, reading up on the deep history of Glen Cove, you notice a lantern. Now, it's not an ancient artifact, but it's one with a genie inside, granting you 3 wishes for the Glen Cove Chamber. What are you wishing for?
Sure. I think one is for the chamber and for our local businesses is to get back to normal, get back to where it was prior to the pandemic, where we kind of know what our expectations and our challenges are, and then we can go ahead and attack them instead of constantly different things coming up that we have no knowledge about with this pandemic. So that would be one, is getting back to normal. 2 is continue to grow the chamber board and grow our membership. Spread the news out there, spread the name, and get the people excited and involved in the chamber. It's a great organization where people can network and can meet like-minded people. So continue to grow the chamber and the board would be 2. And 3 is which will always help the chamber is when people shop local. When they shop local in Glen, Cove and shop these small businesses, that's going to mean more for local business owners, which will mean more for the Chamber of Commerce. So that would be my 3 wishes.
By the way, I misspoke. The number 1 most requested wish is that we get rid of this pandemic. The number 2
right. Is more members.
wish is more membership. Exactly.
Right.
Okay. All right, Don, we're going to move on to you. Don Schiavetta, Bethpage Chamber. Back in 2019, September, to be precise, we had Terry Catapano Black from your chamber on our program. She gave us 3 wishes at that time. And I want to review them with you for your feedback on how things are progressing. So for the first one, we're going to listen to some audio, and then I want to discuss this with you. This is Terry on our program back in September 2019.
The large part of our downtown is a municipal parking lot, which doesn't make sense because the train station, now that the trains have become longer, is actually on the west side of Stewart Avenue, and all of the parking, or except for maybe 20 slips, is on the east side. The parking and the parking deck that we're now working with some of those industrial neighbors and commercial neighbors to place it on the west side of Stewart Avenue, which then not only creates, we'd like an underpass or an overpass, because presently at the Bethpage train station there is neither.
Right, you're running across Stewart Avenue,
exactly.
Which is like, 6 lanes?
More people have been killed or hurt crossing Stewart Avenue than hit by the train, and my mother was the 13th person killed there. So it needs to be addressed, and we've been working very, very actively with all levels of government, because that is the biggest challenge, to be able to accomplish, first and foremost, in my opinion, the safety issues surrounding that railroad station. But then to be able to, when you look at Bethpage on the east side, that is our downtown. Now we can retrofit some merchant parking, some nice green spaces, to actually be able to do this in today's world in an area as dense as Nassau County, Long Island. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable opportunity.
All right. So Don, what is Terry talking about?
Well, what she's talking about is it's right next to our train station. It's not next to it, it's across the street from our train station. And it really we would like to make that our downtown parking area. There's some available space with some of our corporate partners, Steel Equities, that is on the west side, which is right next to our train station, which now that they use it right now for excess parking for maybe car dealerships and whatnot. And we're working with them, and we're working with the MTA to come up with some type of public-private plan to move the parking in that direction. It's been very challenging right now because the MTA has had its challenges with ridership being so low. And right now, in the last 2 years, those parking lots have not even been full. So it's hard to go talk to them about parking when their ridership is so low. But we do have a great partner in Steel Equities. They're part of our chamber. They're one of our premier members, and they have been very supportive. And hopefully, if we can come up with the right package for the MTA, for the town, for the county, we might be able to pull this project together. But it's definitely something that's number 1 on my list before I even heard the clip. I know that.
So I'm going to take a stab here and say that the pandemic put a crimp in your plans.
It did.
Terry was talking just a few months before the pandemic broke.
It's all in our minds, and it's very clear that is the direction that we need to go.
And so if I understand this correctly, what you're saying is that parking space is being used for commuter parking. You want it to be designated for your shoppers.
Right. For all shoppers, for the restaurants, because we're going to start having more restaurants than really shopping places. Like, we're going to start having more service and stores, and we're going to need more parking in our town. That people are going to have to show up, and it's you just don't go in a few people in a store. There might be 30 people eating dinner or 30 people having lunch, and that's going to be more cars in our downtown, which we're not really prepared for right now. And the permitting process with the town of Oyster Bay will also prohibit us, because a restaurant needs more parking than, say, a gift store of some sort, or an Apple store, let's say. That also goes with my number 2
Well, hold
with-
on. Hold on, Don. You're getting ahead of yourself. I'm not done with Terry's,
Oh,
which
okay.
is
Oh,
from 2
Terry
years
got
ago.
more.
I want to see where you're at with that.
Okay.
Number two,
Okay.
she said that she wanted the chamber to reach out more to the outlying areas of Bethpage to boost chamber membership. You've got a nice core downtown, but you've also got quite a few businesses that, and I think Hempstead's the same way, quite a few businesses outside of your core that Terry wanted to reach out to. How's that going?
That's gone really well. We've started to hit a lot more on Hempstead Turnpike, which is in the south side of Bethpage. So we've reached out. We have a Dogtopia over there. Meryl Zorn from Zorn's is very active in our chamber now. We also picked up one of the subways and another hero spot as well. So we've been reaching out there, and we're bringing more of them to, we give them free access to booths and whatnot and free areas on Broadway when we're doing our street fairs. So it's no cost to them to come in, even if like Kiwanis is partnering with us and they're selling street fair spots. Anybody who's part of our chamber can come in and get a free spot to be able to be on Broadway when we're having our functions and our fairs or concerts.
But I think Terry was referring to, though, the industrial parks that have really boomed for you since Grumman moved out. You've got a lot of businesses back in that Bethpage Industrial Park. And
well, yes, we've definitely increased our premier donors, a lot of them being FedEx, Steel Equities, Amazon, and they've come on board to just be more premier donors. They're not really interested in being part of, let's say, any particular function or being there, but they are supporting our chamber now, which is great. And Terry's been integral in getting those people on board.
Good to hear that. All right, her third wish, this is again September 2019, pre-pandemic. She was talking about more transit-oriented housing.
So
where are you at with that? Same.
Now that's a problem, and that has more to speak to the town and them embracing this modest development, just along the lines of what Farmingdale has done. Even though they're in the town of Oyster Bay, they're a village, and they have their own destiny in mind, and they've created a really nice downtown area with some development that supports that and gives you, I guess, some walking traffic. We have not. The 5 hamlets that are on the train stations, Oyster Bay, Syosset, Hicksville, Bethpage, and Massapequa, have not seen that type of development, and the town has not embraced it yet. We're going to really see what happens in Hicksville, because the huge Sears that was located on 107 is now they're trying to work on developing that. And it's a perfect spot for this type of development, but they really haven't gotten a handle on what they want to do or how they're going to do it. And until, I guess, we see one of the hamlets in town of Oyster Bay and the town of Oyster Bay board deciding how they're going to handle this development and what they're going to allow, then we should hopefully break through. Because beyond us, Bayshore, Patchogue, Farmingdale, Lindenhurst, Copeg, they're all doing it. I mean, they're all doing it, and they're having great success in their downtowns doing it.
Well, Supervisor Saladino's a good friend of mine. We grew up together, so I'll place a phone call to him after this, see what I can do for you.
Hey, we just want a plan, man. Give us a plan and we'll run with it.
All right. So, Don, now how about you? So here we are now, September 19th was Terry. Here we are, January 2022. What are your 3 wishes?
Those 2 are the first 2. I mean, I knew those questions were coming, so I have those 2 as the number one things, that modest development. We want foot traffic in our downtowns, and we want to bring people back to our downtowns. And it's a permitting thing that has to be addressed. And again, the COVID has definitely slowed it down. There were less board meetings that we could attend. There were less things that we could do, less interaction with everybody. But those are the things that need to be done. And then there's a lot more coordination that I like to see happen with us, Kiwanis, the fire department, and our civic associations, so that we're not all trying to do events or functions separately, but we're doing them together. And that was one of the things that I really wanted to do this past year. We were able to do it, bring them together, which is great. But we had to cut down on the number of functions. So hopefully going forward in 2022, we keep that coordination going. We make our functions, there'll be fewer functions, but they'll be bigger and better functions.
Okay, so that's your third wish.
That's my third wish.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now it's time for our second day tripper segment. And this time we're going to take a stroll around the village of Hempstead. Now, Belinda, I grew up in Baldwin in my younger days, just a stroll north Baldwin, so just a stroll over to Hempstead Village. So I know your village very well. Tell me how my family can spend a day in your historic community.
Well, first thing, you can go shopping if you want to go shopping at the TJ Maxx and local boutiques that's in the area. And then for entertainment, our African American Museum, they have now started concerts there, like mini concerts, and really like jazz music. So it's really good. I watched the live feed and it's really good. Or if you're into art, you can go check out the art at the African American Museum. And if you have little ones, you can go to Chuck E. Cheese. And if you're a nightlife, you can go to V Lounge, which is one of the mini bars that they have there, which is really, really nice. And we too have the golf course during the day if you like that. And we have multiple parks that the kids can go to. And Kennedy Park also has a swimming pool. They opened up the swimming pool back now. So we have that back. And then they're actually starting to open up the Lincoln Park pool. So you'll have two options to go swimming. So that's basically, you can go shopping, you can have some entertainment, and any of our eateries that are there. We have Wingstop, Wings and Things, different Hispanic restaurants, Jamaican restaurant. We even have a new taco place. So you have plenty of food choices to pick from. So,
all right.
You will be happy when you leave Hempstead.
Sounds like things are jumping in Hempstead. Very good. All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, it's time to ask a leader. And that's where I stop asking the questions and I let Don, Belinda, and Matt take the mic. This is Chamber Chatter on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
And just like that, we're back. It's Chamber Chatter on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. My name is Mark Snider. Chamber Chatter is a monthly roundtable discussion with today's Long Island business leaders. It's been underwritten by MapTunes, Long Island Chamber Maps. Let me reintroduce my three guests here with me today. Don Schiavetta, president of the Bethpage Chamber of Commerce, Belinda Watkins, president of the Hempstead Chamber, and Matt Nartowicz, president of the Glen Cove Chamber of Commerce. So now it's time to ask a leader. And this is where I turn over the microphone and I let our chamber leaders here with me today ask questions amongst themselves. Now, Matt, I'm going to start with you, but before I let you ask the question, Dan Cox, who is our director of broadcasting here at WCWP, and also happens to be a longtime resident of Glen Cove, he actually has a question for you. Dan?
Okay, Matt. First of all, congratulations on your elevation to chamber president. I think that's great.
Thank you.
We've been doing the show for a while now, and I've been listening to chambers not only here, but we also do a show in North Carolina, a chamber chatter show there too. And one of the things I've noticed is that chambers sometimes create relationships with other public organizations like the BID. Now, being a Glen Cove resident, we have a BID, and the BID, I'm sure, includes some chamber members. Do you see any kind of relationship with the BID to do either events or to possibly gain, an advantage in one way or another by working together? Or do you think you should just stay, one-on-one?
No, organizations like the BID are great. And I've been here in Glen Cove now for 12 years working in the area. And I've known Patricia, who's the executive director of the bid for all those years. I personally worked with her. And I think it's only beneficial to both organizations when you can come together and have meetings or events together to kind of bring our membership to them or vice versa. BID is a general area of Glen Cove, while the Glen Cove Chamber of Commerce spans all through Glen Cove and even some of the other areas like Seacliff. So we have an opportunity to have members who are a little bit outside the BID, and it'll be great to bring them to the businesses and the different organizations in the area of the BID. So I 100% look to work with Patricia, and I hope we can have a great relationship going forward.
I think that's great. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the question, Dan. All right, Matt, it's your turn. You're new on the job. Got a couple of experienced presidents here. You have a question for either one of them?
Sure. I guess my first one is regarding membership meetings. Are you currently having in-person membership meetings on a monthly basis? If you are, how's that been with the attendance, and how are you making it a safe environment for everybody?
Well, what we did, we are having in-person meeting. Before it was on Zoom. We actually had more people attend on the Zoom because, everybody's so busy and people were actually more comfortable with that. But once we've been in person, you had to do confirmation and make reservations and make sure you was coming. So that way we get a head count and pretty much just spaced everything out. And we limited the refreshments that we were giving out. Everything was just grab and go type thing. And it worked out pretty well. So we were still having them. And some of them actually liked it because we actually give a certificate at the meeting. So they were really excited about that. We just masked up, sanitized, took temperatures, and kept moving it along.
Nice.
Yep. And the same basically with us. Went to Zoom for a while, and we just got back to it in the late summer. We started meeting together of course, when it was nice out, we actually met outside of this church. We meet in town in a parking lot. So we kind of brought out outdoor chairs and sat outside, well spaced, masks if you so chose, because many people were vaxxed at that time. And now we're playing with it for the next 2 months. All the way up to December, we were in the church basement, still with spacing because it's a pretty large room, but some masking, and everybody of course has to be vaxxed. So that's where we're at right now. We're wondering if we should go back to Zoom just for a month or two, but we're working on that right now.
It seems like in talking to the chambers every month, there's a lot of starting and stopping here.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Everybody was Zooming, and then it looked like we were free and clear, and everyone was excited to go back to in-person meetings. And in fact, I'm dealing with the Plainview Old Bethpage Chamber right now, and they canceled their December holiday gathering, which was going to be at a restaurant, and now their January meetings on Zoom. It's a tough call. What are you thinking, Matt?
Well, we've put it back to in person. Of course, now with the spikes, where we've been discussing about moving it back to Zoom. Again, it's one of those things where you take it day by day, and for this month by month. So right now, January meeting is in person, but it's always in jeopardy. And same thing with February, depending on how the spikes are happening.
You actually nailed it. It's month to month.
Yep,
that's what it is. All right, Belinda, how about you? You're the president of the Hempstead Chamber of Commerce. You have a question for either one of the other presidents on our program today?
Yes, I guess I want to ask, because I don't know if you guys are as big as Hempstead, the village, but the last census we took was in 2010. We had about maybe 5,000 businesses. And I'm the type of person, when I have an idea in my head, I take it and run with it. So instead of driving myself crazy, do you have any ideas of try to get every one of those businesses a chamber member? Like any ideas of how you go about doing it? I mean, some of them we are on ground, we go business to business, but that's a lot to tackle when you don't have that many people to help you. So is there like any other way you do, like maybe an email blast or something like that, or you have different events for them to come out? And that could be for either one of them. Either one, you can answer that.
As far as Bethpage goes, like we had spoken about, we have a large corporate area sector. So those corporate ones, we do send people out. We have letters and pamphlets set up for them because we don't expect them to be part of the day-to-day stuff, getting involved in that. We just would like them to be what we call premier members. And we put their sponsorship signs up at every event that we have, and let them know that we'll be supporting them and just promoting who they are. Like we have Bethpage Federal Credit Union, the Steel Equities, which owns the corporate park, Amazon, FedEx. They just like to be named and let people know in the town that they are supporting the town. So when they see the trucks running through the town and they get kind of bummed, like, oh, there's a lot of Amazon trucks here, a lot of FedEx trucks here, say, you know what, though, they support all the different functions that are going on in this town. And so we try to work it that way. As far as the smaller companies, like you said, we do a mail burst, and either email, or we also do a regular mailing with our pamphlets and things that they get involved in. And what you brought up earlier, which was the reduced membership, to get them on board, just get them going and let them see the benefits of being part of the chain.
How about you, Matt? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, one of my goals for the Glen Cove Chamber is to grow the board. And I think the board members are the most important aspect of getting the name and the recognition of what we do to other businesses that we normally won't see. So having a board that's growing and having them go out, maybe doing a membership drive one day where everybody goes out and just knocks on doors and invites them to our next meeting is highly important. And then I think next important is social media. Putting our information on social media and maybe blasting it where you don't have to be liking the page to get the information. So it goes out to everybody in Glen Cove, and that could always help as well.
Thank you.
Belinda, let me add something that might help you, a tool that you might find invaluable. There's a database called Reference USA. It's available only through your public library's website. Reference USA keeps track of all the businesses in the United States by zip code. You can literally download those 5,000 businesses. You can download all the contact information you're looking for. Ownership, phone numbers, websites. It's all available, and it's a free service paid for by your library taxes. Reference USA.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So all of you guys, all the chambers can use it, but in directing, to your question, speaking to your question directly, a good way to find out about all of these businesses that a lot of them are people that are working from home.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So anyway, check it out. All right, okay, Don, finally, you question for our chamber leaders here today.
Yes, I have one for Belinda. Just tell me a little bit more about the Nassau County Chamber and how we can get a little bit more involved in that. I don't know much about it.
Well, we actually have, of course, Frank now is the president, and we have a couple of different new members on there. So as we prepare to get the board prepared, when they have events like the breakfast, business of the year, we ask for a committee, volunteers for that as well. But any idea we suggest that any business, any chamber to send us information, any suggestions to surveys, so how we can help you, because we don't know everything. We try to do the best that we can as business owner, because there is a lot of mostly everybody on that board is a business owner. So we see what we had problems with, and then we put it back out so we can help.
Okay.
So if you have an issue,
does it have
let
a
us know.
That I can actually go to your website for the camp?
Yep, Nassau Council Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, that's it. Okay, great.
Nassau Council, yes. Yes. And and then also with the media, we're working on if you need help with your media, social media, stuff like that, there's someone there that can assist you with that as well. Because a lot of businesses, like me, I'm not that tech savvy. So you can have help with that. Yeah.
All right.
And also the veterans program. I'm not sure if either one of you have the veterans program. We found out that it is through Nassau County, but a lot of businesses don't have the sticker, or they're not on the list of letting everybody know that they're actually on the veterans list to get a discount.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them already, will give the discount already, but there's other businesses that don't know that they can go on the directory. So we're working on that as well.
Great. That's good.
Okay. Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks for those questions. Now we're going to get back to the final day tripper segment. And we've heard about things to do in Bethpage and in Hempstead. And now it's Matt's turn to tell us how a family of 5 can spend the day in the city of Glen Cove. And if you miss anything, my producer, Dan Cox, is going to chime in and correct you. Talk to me, Matt. What do you got?
Well, when you come into Glen Cove, it starts with our great restaurants. They're diverse. They're amazing. So if you're looking for Italian food, that's where it all starts here. We have La Bussola and the Riviera Grill. They've been there for decades. They're authentic. They're amazing. I personally believe that Glen Cove has some of the best pizza in all of New York. We have Amalfi Pizzeria and the Lorenzo Pizzeria, which is Lorenzo's brand new, and they're doing a great job. They're amazing. If you want Mexican food, we have a Tex-Mex, which is excellent. And then we have a new Greek restaurant that just opened about a year ago. It's called I Slouvaki. It's modern. It's sleek. It's amazing. So our restaurants is where it starts. If you're looking to be active in Glen Cove, we have a great public golf course on the North Shore, wonderful views. With my friend, Bob Arrowwood, he owns the pro shop there, and they're actually constructing a new building for him right now that's hopefully going to be ready for the spring. So that's excellent. On that course as well is a restaurant called The View Restaurant, and that's where it gets its name from, the wonderful views of the Long Island Sound. Chef Janine DeMena is there, and she's been on the Food Network. She does a great job for the restaurant as well as for golfers who are just looking for a quick bite and go. If golf is not for you, but you still want to be active, I can't recommend more Morgan Park. It's great with walkways, bike paths, beach area. Again, some of the best views of all of Long Island is right there. And if you decide if you love all that and you want to move to Glen Cove, RXR just built a wonderful community right on Garvey's Point. And, most developers, they build the building and they get move on to the next project. They built a community. There's walkways, there's bike paths, there's kiddie parks, there's piers for the boats. And what Glen Cove is really excited about is we're putting in a ferry right there. So if you want to take a ferry directly to New York and bypass the trains, it has that opportunity for you right there. So that's what we want to do in Glen Cove.
Wow. Quite a lineup of things to do, and all those restaurants making me hungry here.
I was just about to say, I think I have to log off and go get some food.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you for that update. So what I like to do at the end of the show, when time allows, and it does, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what you do when you're not running the chamber. So Don, I know you're a successful restaurateur. Tell my audience about what you do when you're not leading the Bethpage Chamber.
Well, we have a little place in Bethpage called Campaign House, and it's an American bistro and bar. We serve anything from a burger to paella. We have a great chef, Chef Miguel Berrios, super. We have outdoor seating. We have a courtyard with outdoor seating, lighting. It's very pretty outside, and during the summer. And then we do music 3 nights a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. We have either a single or a duo playing from 7 to 10 and just kind of filling up the week now and enjoying it.
Don, I've eaten there. Everything you say is true. All right. Belinda, I know you put a lot of hours in with the Hempstead Chamber as well as the Nassau Council. But what do you do on a full-time basis that keeps you busy?
You ready? No. Yes, I own a home care, Unique in Home Care. So I'm doing that from home. And I'm also the PTA. I'm on the PTA board for my middle school for my daughter, and I'm on the Nassau Regional PTA board as well. And I own a youth nonprofit which teaches entrepreneurship, and we do different workshops. And I'm always in the community doing something. If it's not Eric from Vision Long Island pulling me somewhere, it's, someone's pulling me somewhere to help out, and I love it. So I'm pretty busy. And then, not to mention, I'm a mother of 3. 2 of them play sports. So I mean,
So the real question is, when do you sleep? Right.
Right. At 2:00 in the morning.
Matt, I don't know a lot about you, but I understand you do like to handle money. Tell my audience about your day job.
Absolutely. So I'm the chief of retail banking for American Community Bank. We're a local community bank that originated in Glen, Cove just about over 22 years ago. We expanded to 4 other locations throughout Long Island, and we're continuing to look to grow. And we're one of the last privately owned community banks left on Long Island. So, we're very proud about that, and we're proud of what we do for services we provide for our customers.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing. All right, special thanks to my 3 guests who joined us today.
Thank you.
Don Schiavetta, he's the president of the Bethpage Chamber of Commerce. Belinda Watkins, president of the Hempstead Chamber. And Matt Nartowicz, president of the Glen Cove Chamber of Commerce. You've been listening to Chamber Chatter on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. It's been underwritten by MapTunes, Long Island Chamber Maps. Chamber Chatter is also available as a podcast. Yes, visit WCWP.org/Chamber Chatter. And did you know you can watch every program on YouTube? Just search WCWP Studios. Special thanks to my good friend Dan Cox. He's the director of broadcasting here at WCWP and also my engineer throughout the pandemic. And to my listeners, remember to always keep your local businesses in mind when you're making purchases or utilizing services. Yes, it's that important. Project Independence and You is coming up. Stay safe and enjoy your day.